Hello, good morning. Heavy rain last night. Pretty normal during the wet season, which has probably got about another 4 or 5 weeks to go, and then the warmer weather starts. One thing about it, it's just after 6 in the morning here. Things are starting to liven up around us. But the one thing you notice here in the provinces goes through a cycle. You get corn for a few months, and now everywhere you look is rice. I'm not sure what they're going to replant here now that the beans have created their crop. Such a lot of work goes into putting in all these trellises and encouraging the plant to grow up and propagate the long beans. You wonder whether it's really cost effective. But then farming is one of those things that you see a lot of effort going into it, a lot of physical effort, for what appears to be not as much in return for the effort. But that's always the way. The supermarkets, the vegetable dealers always seem to be the ones that make the best amount of money. You see people coming in the mornings when the crops are on the vine, and they're buying it directly off the grower. So they're trying to make their money last longer, or maybe just trying to become a middleman themselves, selling maybe in the market for those that are that way inclined. Those that complain, of course, of dogs and karaoke machines are just going to find the Philippines sometimes maybe just a little bit overbearing. As you can see, I'm now at the point of the highway. That's towards Negillion, that way, and that way is towards San Fernando and Boa. Everybody is spending their day organising what they're planning. You'll see there's a jeepney going into San Fernando, and here's a car about to run me over. As they come in, they haven't quite done the road between the barangay here, the highway, and the barangay. That's to allow for the road to be widened. So at the moment you have a rather poor surface between the main highway and the barangay. But that's pretty normal. And if you look above my head, we have our local spaghetti coming down the road to provide everybody with internet. But back to my thought for the day. My goodness, there's been a lot going on in America at the moment. And one will hope that whatever happens is that the world can sort itself out a bit better after November. I suppose there is really only one in most people's minds that can achieve that goal. And of course, depending on whether you're blue or red, that will be your answer. What is interesting is, even though you might get the popular vote, at the moment the score, according to the media, which none of us can trust, it's 50-50 pretty well. And of course, we all know that that's complete rubbish. But the media is what drives the world. We're using the media right now to talk to you in some way, shape or form. But The reality is that media around the world has become owned by so few people who control the narrative, for which they have their own biases. So it's not really a case of which one you follow. It's which media you're prepared to accept as the gospel truth about what's happening. I suppose that's a bit like the Philippines here, with all the goings on around the world. Here in the Philippines, it's probably the last thing we worry about. Of course, if you're American, you seem to be obsessed with the current rate of exchange. I look at it this way: whatever you get from your own currency is what you end up transferring it into Philippine pesos. So it really makes no difference. Yes, one cent in the dollar can make a little bit more of a slice into what is your share of your pension. But generally speaking, I think it's pretty safe to say that 75% of your costs overseas are no longer here in the Philippines. Unless, of course, you want to live the high life, live like a king, as they often talk about. And of course, kings live unlike anybody in the world. So the idea that somehow you're going to come here and live like a king, I think what they actually mean is that you're going to want for much less in your life here, because all of your creature comforts can be managed from your pension. Yes, you see some people living on $500-600 American per month. But everything is relevant. How long is a piece of string? Well, we all know that depending on how much string you give it. And the reality is that some of you say you can't live on less than $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 a month. Well, I say that's ridiculous. If that's all you can live on here in the Philippines, what on earth are you here in the Philippines for? To spend that kind of money a month. It's not about jealousy, as some might suggest, but it's about wanton waste. If you want to have Western food, the idea that somehow you can't, again, is ridiculous, because everything is available at the market that you can buy overseas. Yes, some of the specialized jams and spreads might not have the same name, but ultimately they replace what you've maybe been used to. You can buy marmalade, you can buy Vegemite, you can buy Bovril, you can buy beef jerky, you can buy New Zealand butter, English butter, American butter, you can buy American milk, and you can buy Kiwi milk as well, or Australian, or Canadian. You name it, you can buy it here. Sure, you might have to work out where it is that you can buy these things from, and from there you will design your trip. Your buying spree will be organized as you go along. You'll go to this mall or that mall, and you'll buy enough to get you through to the next time you need to. Because to buy just one is rather stupid, because so often what is available today will not be available tomorrow. It will be sold out. So it's always a good idea to buy half a dozen of this and half a dozen of that. That way you're guaranteed that you shouldn't run out if you keep your stock stocked up. So again, it's up to you, but to suggest that you can't eat like a foreigner. I mean, if you want to buy T-bone steak, you can buy T-bone steak. T-bone steaks about 630 pesos a kilo. Again, $10 a kilo American. Is that really too much to spend? Every day, it soon mounts up. But again, why do you need it every day? Is that what you've been brought up on? Grain-fed steak? And you're going to sit there and complain that the quality isn't as good as back home? Well, simple, guys. Go back home. If you want to complain about what's available here in the Philippines, what you can attain in the Philippines, why on earth are you here? What is the point of being in a country you're not happy with? It's all about perspective and about how you readjust yourself to living in a developing nation, for which the Philippines is one of many here in Southeast Asia. So, whilst the ladies are busy collecting the crops here, I'm not sure what this particular crop is available. Hello, my friend Ian. Here's a lady at the moment. She's collecting the morning crops, probably to sell. I'm not sure what she's selling. Are they? I'm not sure. I can't actually see. Maybe I can see what they've got in the bin already that they've stopped to get. It looks like, I don't know. I would have said that's peanuts, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's okra. Whatever it is, they're getting it fresh right now. So within an hour it'll be sold in the market here in the Gillian. And that's the whole point. How often do you find fresh food, really fresh food? In the West it's been harvested and packed and dry frozen or whatever, and then maybe a week later it's on the market for sale. It's been kept in a special cool room, distributed to the supermarket chains, and it doesn't really resemble the same flavour and consistency of chopped or harvested right now. So guys, just remember that living anywhere in the world, whether it's Spain, Portugal, south of France, Eastern Europe, the Philippines is no different. It's just one of the many countries in the world that we can choose to live in. The main reason that most people come here is two things really. To find a beautiful wife, someone to spend some time with, and it's not like there's not many around. Morning. And that's the whole point. That's why you're here. Let's not fool ourselves. The fact that maybe we're overweight, health-wise we haven't got the greatest of outcomes. But at the end of the day, I would say that even if you died here in the Philippines, you should probably die with a smile on your face, which would be a lot better than what you face back home. All the things you worry about that no longer matter here. What matters here is if you can make yourself a nice meal. If you can't, get on YouTube and work out how to make those dishes you desire. Sit there with your girlfriend, your wife, whatever, and try and come up with dishes that you enjoy. It's so simple. Rather than complain about the food, about the weather, the karaokes, and all the other things that annoy you about the Philippines. Focus on the good things. It's like living in England. Years ago I knew people who at the end of their garden who used to have a train line going, and every few minutes a train would go by. And I used to think, how can they live there with those rumbling past all the time? Well, the reality is, you don't notice it after a while. And those that keep complaining about karaoke and dog barking and cock-a-doodle-doos, then clearly they really aren't suited to living outside their own country, where you'd rather listen to police cars going by and ambulances. So that's my thought for this morning. I hope you've enjoyed listening, and we'll no doubt speak again soon. So we'll go in and have another coffee. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and look forward to your comments. Bye now.